Love is a seed, not a firework. So often, people confuse the bright, fleeting intensity of attraction with what love truly is. Fireworks explode suddenly. They dazzle, they excite, they catch the eye. But they vanish almost as quickly as they appear. That initial rush of excitement can feel intoxicating, and for a moment, it may convince us that love has arrived, but real love does not depend on such spectacle. It begins quietly, like a seed lying in the soil, unseen yet full of potential. A seed does not announce its presence with a sudden flash. It grows slowly, invisibly, beneath the surface, reaching for light, stretching its roots and gathering strength. Love, in its truest form, behaves in the same way. It begins with small gestures, moments of understanding, and a steady presence that is often overlooked in a world obsessed with intensity and speed. These subtle actions, the kind that require patience and attention, are what allow a connection to take root and endure. When we try to rush love, we often mistake passion for depth, excitement for permanence. A relationship built on immediate intensity can feel thrilling, but without time to grow, it lacks the foundation necessary to withstand challenges. A seed needs nurturing sunlight, water, and care over time. Similarly, love requires attention, compassion, and trust. It grows when both people are willing to invest in the quiet, everyday moments. The conversations that last long after the laughter fades. The small sacrifices that go unnoticed. The shared silences that are comfortable rather than awkward. These are the moments that seem ordinary, but are extraordinary in building a lasting bond. Just as a seed gradually transforms into a strong tree, capable of sheltering and providing for others, love that grows slowly develops roots that anchor it through storms and uncertainties. It becomes resilient, deep, and sustaining. To understand this is to recognize that love cannot be forced or hurried. True love arrives not in a blaze of intensity, but in the patient, deliberate unfolding of two hearts willing to grow together, gently and steadily, day by day. Patience reveals what impulse hides. In the rush of life, people often seek instant gratification in love, believing that speed equals certainty. We are drawn to what is immediate. An intense conversation, a thrilling date, a sudden surge of emotions. But in that rush, the truth is often concealed. Impulse creates illusions, masking the reality of a person's character, their values, and even their intentions. When we act too quickly, we see only the surface, the carefully presented image, the moments people show when they are aware of being observed. Real understanding, however, requires time, observation, and patience. It requires the willingness to step back and allow someone to reveal themselves slowly, naturally, without pressure or expectation. In the calm of patience, the small details emerge, the ways they treat others, the honesty in their words, when no one is watching, the consistency of their actions over time. These are the truths that cannot be faked or rushed. Impulse cannot reveal depth. A hurried connection may feel passionate, but it often overlooks incompatibilities, hidden patterns, and subtle warnings. Only patience allows the mind and heart to discern between temporary excitement and enduring compatibility. Patience gives space for reflection, allowing you to evaluate not just what someone appears to be, but who they truly are. It teaches you to notice the quiet moments, the gestures that go unnoticed, the integrity that manifests over time. In essence, patience protects the heart from deception and disappointment. It slows down the whirlwind of emotions, just enough to observe clearly, to sense deeply, and to understand profoundly. By resisting the temptation to rush, by allowing love to unfold gradually, we create a space where authenticity thrives. In this space, illusions fade, and the reality of a person emerges in its full complexity. Patience is not passive. It is an active engagement with time, awareness, and observation. It is the discipline of allowing truth to reveal itself naturally, without forcing it, without jumping to conclusions, without mistaking impulse for clarity. In love, as in life, patience is the lens that makes the invisible visible, the hidden obvious, and the uncertain clear. Stillness helps you see someone's true nature. In a world that constantly pushes us to move faster, to act, and to decide quickly, stillness often feels unnatural or even uncomfortable. Yet it is precisely in these quiet, unhurried moments that clarity arises. When we slow down and allow ourselves to simply observe, without expectation or judgment, the essence of a person begins to reveal itself. People can perform, pretend, and impress when the spotlight is on them. But in stillness, in the ordinary rhythms of life, their true self becomes apparent. How someone behaves when no one is watching, how they respond to small frustrations, how they carry themselves in silence. These are the subtle signals that reveal character, values, and emotional depth. Stillness allows the heart and mind to notice these nuances. It provides the space to witness authenticity rather than being distracted by spectacle or surface-level charm. In the rush of excitement, one may be blinded by the thrill of emotions, by chemistry, or by fleeting gestures of attention. But when we pause, when we step back and give ourselves time to observe calmly, the illusions begin to fade. We begin to see the person as they are, not as we wish them to be. In stillness, trust is tested naturally, not forced. Patience and quiet observation reveal consistency in words and actions, exposing patterns that rushing would overlook. It also allows us to reflect on our own reactions, our own emotions, and our own expectations. By being present in these silent moments, we cultivate discernment, understanding, and emotional intelligence, qualities essential for love that is genuine and lasting. Real love does not thrive in chaos or haste. It flourishes in calmness, in awareness, and in the deliberate choice to see clearly. Stillness is not emptiness. It is presence. It is attentiveness. It is the gentle, patient act of observing life as it truly is, and through that observation, recognizing whether a connection has depth, integrity, and potential for growth. By embracing stillness, we allow love to develop, not on illusions, but on truth. Consistency is the real language of love. Many people are drawn to grand gestures, passionate declarations, and dramatic displays of affection, believing these are the marks of true love. Yet, while these moments can feel thrilling, they are fleeting and often unreliable. True love is not measured by how loudly it announces itself, but by how quietly and persistently it shows up day after day. Consistency is what transforms feelings into trust, and trust into a deep, enduring bond. When someone is consistently present, attentive, and caring, it signals more than any grand statement ever could. It communicates reliability, commitment, and a willingness to be there through both the ordinary and the extraordinary. Actions, repeated over time, reveal the depth of intention in a way that words alone never can. Love that is consistent does not depend on the highs of excitement or the lows of conflict to prove its existence. It manifests in small, meaningful acts, a kind word, when it is not expected, a thoughtful gesture when it is unnoticed, a listening ear when no one else is paying attention. Over time, these small, repeated actions accumulate into a strong foundation. Consistency also nurtures emotional security. When both people in a relationship can rely on each other's steadiness, it creates a sense of safety and comfort that allows vulnerability to flourish. It is in this space of reliability that real intimacy is born. In contrast, inconsistency breeds doubt, confusion, and fear. Words may be abundant, promises may be grand, but without consistent effort and presence, love remains fragile, temporary. The subtle beauty of consistency is that it requires no spectacle. It is not loud. It is not urgent, and it does not demand immediate recognition. Yet, it speaks louder than any momentary display of passion. Those who understand this truth recognize that love is not a performance, but a practice, a daily choice to show up, to care, and to nurture. Over time, these consistent acts of love accumulate, forming a deep bond that is unshakable, resilient, and enduring. Consistency is not simply behavior, it is a language, a silent dialogue of commitment, attention, and respect that communicates far more than words ever could. Deep love requires two people who are growing, not rushing. In most relationships, there is a temptation to force progress, to demand milestones, or to expect immediate harmony. Yet love that is real and lasting cannot be hurried. It thrives when both individuals allow themselves to evolve at their own pace, honoring their own growth while supporting the growth of the other. Each person carries their own experiences, wounds, and lessons, and expecting someone to meet all your needs instantly is unrealistic and unfair. True connection arises when both hearts are willing to develop independently and together, without pressure or impatience. Growth in love means understanding that mistakes are not failures, that change is part of life, and that the process of becoming who we are meant to be is ongoing. Two people who are growing together create a relationship that is dynamic and alive, where curiosity, respect, and compassion deepen naturally over time. Rushing interrupts this process. It forces people into patterns that may feel comfortable in the moment, but are ultimately unsustainable. When we slow down, we allow each other to show vulnerability without fear of judgment. We allow the relationship to breathe, to expand, and to mature organically. In this space, love is not a race, it is a journey. Both individuals are constantly learning, not only about each other, but also about themselves. They recognize that deep love requires patience, empathy, and the humility to accept imperfection. They understand that pressure and urgency often lead to misunderstandings, resentment, and disappointment, while steady growth cultivates trust, stability, and intimacy. Love that develops alongside personal growth becomes resilient because it is built on understanding, shared values, and mutual respect, rather than on fleeting excitement or superficial attraction. In allowing each other the freedom to grow, two people discover not only the true essence of the other, but also the deeper layers of themselves. This kind of love is measured not in how quickly it develops, but in how profoundly it transforms both individuals over time. It teaches patience, presence, and appreciation, reminding us that the most meaningful connections are those that are nurtured slowly, intentionally, and with a conscious commitment to shared growth. Love that takes time becomes love that stays. In a world obsessed with speed, we are often tempted to measure the worth of a relationship by how quickly it intensifies or how fast it reaches milestones. Yet the truth is that lasting love is never instantaneous. Love that is rushed can be thrilling, but it rarely endures because it is built on emotion rather than foundation. When love develops slowly, it has the opportunity to grow roots that anchor it in understanding, trust, and shared experience. Each day, each small gesture, each moment of presence adds depth to the connection, forming a base that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Love that takes time allows for observation, reflection, and the discovery of true character. It gives people space to reveal not only their strengths, but also their vulnerabilities, their fears, and their imperfections. These moments, often unnoticed in the rush of passion, are the building blocks of resilience. When two people experience life together gradually, they learn how to navigate challenges, support each other through weaknesses, and celebrate growth without taking it for granted. Slow love cultivates patience, empathy, and emotional intelligence, qualities that fast-moving relationships often lack. It is in the deliberate, steady unfolding of love that we recognize its permanence. The excitement of early attraction may fade, but the foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and consistent care remains. Over time, what began as a small, quiet connection transforms into a relationship capable of withstanding storms, trials, and uncertainties. Love that grows slowly teaches us to value depth over intensity, quality over quantity, and authenticity over appearance. It reminds us that true love is not measured by dramatic moments, grand declarations, or fleeting passion, but by the unwavering commitment to show up, to listen, and to care through all seasons of life. The beauty of love that takes time is that it endures precisely because it is unhurried. It does not rely on luck, timing, or temporary infatuation. Instead, it thrives on the consistent, patient, and intentional acts of two people who choose each other day after day, allowing their bond to deepen naturally and steadily. Through this process, love becomes not just a feeling, but a lasting presence, a force that remains, nourishes, and strengthens over time. As we reflect on all that we've explored today, one truth becomes clear: real love is not a race, nor a fleeting spark. It is a journey, slow and deliberate, patient and profound. It grows quietly, nurtured by consistency, understanding, and the willingness of two hearts to evolve together. The beauty of love is not in its speed or intensity, but in its depth, in the roots it forms, and in the resilience it builds. When you stop rushing, when you allow space for patience, stillness, and mutual growth, love reveals its true nature. You begin to see the small, subtle moments, the daily acts of care, the honest gestures, the presence that comforts without needing to prove anything. You realize that love is not measured in grand declarations, but in the silent, steadfast ways we show up for each other. Remember this: the love that grows slowly is the love that stays. It is the love that withstands storms, that matures with time, and that transforms both hearts along the way. Do not be tempted by the illusion of speed or intensity, for they are often fleeting. Instead, embrace patience, nurture understanding, and allow love to unfold naturally, one steady step at a time. When you practice this, you discover a love that is not just temporary or shallow, but enduring, deep, and life-changing. Real love does not rush. It grows slowly, deeply. And in its growth, it teaches us the true meaning of connection, presence, and commitment. Let your heart be patient, let your love be steady and let it grow quietly, profoundly, and beautifully until it becomes the love that lasts a lifetime.